All right. We're looking like we're live. Just going to do a little audio check while we let people kind of stroll on in here since I'm going live early. Just make sure. Okay, cool. All right, everything works. So let's see if we can do the hat trick of just missing everything in both races and still having lines compete in the top 100. I just don't. Man, that John Hunter stuff was insane, man. I hate it in races where it's like first corner. Fuck, dude. That's like 9 of my fucking 12 lines done, man. I got Custer in 9 of them. He's done. Oh, what's that? Sam Mayer wrecking lap 3. Dude, we got 6 lines done, like right out of nowhere, man. When we're looking at this race here, from my point of view, the main thing I was concerned about, and this is one where thankfully everything is still line up with the preview video that I did. I have no opinions that have changed from that video. The main things I wanted to pay attention to in practice was where the Toyotas fell in with their bodies, where everybody would unload off the truck, how drastically different it would be from this type of stuff during the off-season changes. And I see absolutely no change at all. I am absolutely playing the guy. If you have my projections, which you can go ahead and get if you join TrueDFS and stuff, check out the memberships and either join the NASCAR package or all the sports package. If you are, I maximized it again. Oops. There we go. There I am. Hello. If you have my stuff and you see the guys over 5X, those are the guys I'm primarily playing. Let's dive into how I want to construct for this race, okay? I'm personally doing 16 lineups. That's like $380 or something like that. I don't really want to do anything more than that, okay? I think I can cover enough bases with that. When we look at Byron and Larson, playing both of them, okay? Like them both. Fantastic plays. Don't think we need to waste a lot of time on them. I think what I'm going to do is probably 5 or 6 out of the 16 is going to have both of them, okay? Because I think most people realize that we want to play both of them, okay? I think what I'm going to do for the rest is have the remaining 10 lineups, have 5 with Larson, 5 with Byron. And then I can mix and match the other guys that I want to get into. That's all I'm going to say with Byron and Larson. There's absolutely no reason to talk more about them. Talking about who's going to beat each other over those two is just arguing and like splitting hairs. They're both fantastic plays. We don't really need to talk about them at all. When we look at where they fall in line here, the keyboard wants to work. Look at where we fall in line here. That's where they're at. We know their practice speeds. We don't need to discuss them any further. The people that I want to talk about specifically is really talking about lineup construction. So for me, like the first major thing that I was looking at when we looked at the race and we looked at where people are starting, we looked at projected finishing positions and how my projections looked. I wasn't necessarily trying to be aggressive on somebody like Chase Briscoe, okay? Because yet again, very much when we're building lineups, now even if we build them similar, okay, each lineup is fighting each individual lineup that you make, each individual lineup that other people makes and stuff. So like for me, yet again, like yesterday, like I pulled it again. I was like, I just don't see it, man. I just don't see not Nemechek really getting through. He has to beat all those other people. He's got to get through these guys that are fast. And he got through them so fucking fast. And so like today, like I don't like Chase Briscoe at all. I don't like that play at all. Okay. But I'm gonna have a Chase Briscoe lineup because my initial run of him not even like going out of like craziness. Like when we look at how Briscoe has been performing, it's really, really terrible. Really, really god awful horrible, man. Really is terrible. When we look at how he is compared to the rest of the field in practice and his pricing at $6,400, that's the significant part because when we're playing, and here we'll go ahead and do this. So like yet again showing off the fucking 0 in the account. We'll just jump into 15. When we're looking at where Chase Briscoe is at 6,000, why is that significant? Yet again, we're not even going to really talk about any of this crap. Playing these guys, not playing these guys, paying up. We'll talk about Reddick and Bell and all those guys. For the most part, we're having two 10K guys in the lineup, correct? I like Reddick. I like Chastain. I like Bell. So we're most likely paying up for one of those guys. We're just going to throw Chastain in there at $9,000 for this. When we look at the salary that we're at, okay, we're running into a situation to where we're clearly going to need value. A lot of this value looks horrible. Like we're not playing the, and the fact that DraftKings priced up the value is, yet again, they kind of do this like on and off during the season and stuff. But since they price these guys up, it makes, we're not playing Yaley. It makes like Kaz Gralla like a really, really tough play. It makes, let me see where these guys are at. Makes Kaz Gralla a tough play. Makes Derek Krause a tough play. Makes Todd Gillen a tough play. Harrison Burton a tough play. Which I'm not saying you can't play them. At this point, like if I'm focusing on like 4 to 5 guys that I want, I'm playing whoever I land on at the bottom of the salary. In terms of like can't play, like I have Haley at like 20 points. I got Derek Krause at 14. I got Kaz Gralla at 17. And so like I think it's going to be hard pressed for these guys that truly hit value, and probably whoever hits value is probably going to be optimal here. I don't have a lean towards any of that. But what's significant about Briscoe and what he was showing in practice, okay, if that, yet again, it was short runs, it wasn't very significant at all in terms of like actually how he was running here. Like yet again, when we look at races like this, it's who keeps speed up the longest. And also 2 things here. I went ahead and removed Ryan Preece and Yaley's, just all their laps. No reason to fucking even have them on here. I don't need that diluting the color coordination and stuff like that. When we're looking at where Briscoe is, the fall off is pretty significant. Now, when we look at how Vegas performs long run, that is very concerning. Throughout the whole race, that is very concerning. When we look at the main thing, let's see where we at. When we look at a saving grace at a place like Las Vegas, okay, with this individual starting, I don't even know where the hell he's starting. When we look at Briscoe starting 6th, okay, we understand that heads up, short run speed, and realistically looking at how he's been performing, this is pretty rough. But like here's at least for me, like how I built. Like I think he's a fucking god awful play. I'm gonna have him in probably 1 or 2 lines because I like the build that it landed on and reasoning why I like that. Starting the outside lane, we've seen in the past 2 races, and this is just Vegas in general, that we're seeing like leaders struggle. Like no matter who it is, somebody on the front row is getting fucked. You spin your tires, you have a bad start, you end up being forced like 3 wide for 4th and stuff like that. These are the ranges that everybody has been having advantages on. I'm not saying Briscoe's going to be 6 all day, but like just surviving the initial run, he has the ability to outscore a lot of the guys down here by just having a decent day. Okay, his primary guys that he's fighting is what Gregson does, what Barry does, and what Priest does. Okay, but realistically, he's going to be scoring a lot of the 5K guys, I think, if he's able to stay in like the top 12 at least. Another saving grace for him is he has an open pit stall that we do want to always lean towards positions gained on pit road. And so like that's another saving grace in terms of Briscoe. Just pointing that out, like yet again, like yesterday for Nemechek, didn't like him. I had him in 3 lines because I was like, well, this is a situation where like Cole Custer crashes and stuff, and then I'm like, oh well, fuck, this is the only lines that are competing. So like Briscoe, gonna have him. I think he's a great tournament play. That's an argument there. When we're looking at other people who are actually like decent people that I want to chase and everything, yet again, when we're building around like this type of stuff and this type of range, so people like Reddick. I love Reddick. I love Christopher Bell. And specifically in situations now, you can run them with Larson and Byron. You can, and especially if you're not running Larson and Byron together in those lineups, I want to jam in as much Reddick, as much Christopher Bell as I physically can in these lineups. I like Denny Hamlin. So like if I'm not playing Larson and Byron, which is going to be 10 of my 16 lineups, because I'm not playing those 2 together, I want to have Hamlin in 3 of those. I want to have probably Reddick. I'm probably going to have Reddick in like a total of like 9 or 10 of my lineups today. I want to have Bubba Wallace in in lineups today. I think Bubba Wallace is a great play. I think he fits every mold that we want for somebody who's going to maintain a running position inside the top 6. When we look at where he is on average, and then look at the races where he actually had really good, decent, like off the speed, off the trailer speed. And I'm not saying like practice speed is everything, but when we're looking at where he ran specifically in the groups that he was in and the people he's running directly against, like this is a position that will keep him in the top 10 all day. Okay. When we're looking at the fall off that he has, specifically compared to Larson, so like we can highlight Larson here and we're looking at Bubba, good old Bubba Wallace. I like the speed that Bubba Wallace is showing. I think this is going to be a pretty good car. I like Tyler Reddick as well. And so when we're looking at Hendrick and the 23 11 guys, those are the people that I want to focus on in these lineups. And realistically, we can fit like 3 to 4 of these guys in each of our lineups. I like Bubba Wallace a ton today. When we're filling out the rest of our lines, Alex Bowman is just another guy that I'm going to be primarily fitting in the lineups that don't already have Byron and Larson together. A thing that is significant here is one thing that I'm not really a fan of. When I was running my stuff, like I said, I wanted a lot of Briscoe. So like if you're running my projections and stuff, this is what I do. If you want to throw them in Saber Sim, I'm not running contest sims at the moment. I typically just use it to just find my highest projected lineups. That's mainly the significant thing that I want to use. It's going to love Briscoe. I'm going to play like the top 1 or 2 Briscoe lines and then just remove him from the pool entirely. Like fuck Briscoe past that. And I'm seeing that I'm not liking, like it's giving me Stenhouse. It's giving me Zane Smith. It's giving me Eric Jones. And I kind of want to be pushed towards more of Bowman and Ty Gibbs, Noah Gregson over Hocevar, situations like that. And so there's like little nuances that I'm not a complete fan of with how this stuff is building. I want to argue that Byron is probably going to come in at a significantly lower ownership to Larson, maybe about 10 or 12 lower than him. I think they're identical plays. I really do. I don't believe that there is I don't think there's a difference at all between these two. And so if you're like, man, I don't know if I want to fade Larson or I don't know if I want to be underweight on Larson, just play Byron in that. Like it's not that drastically different. And I actually prefer Byron as the race winner today over Kyle Larson. But when we're looking at people that I want to play, let me make sure I can see all this stuff. What's going on, Ryan? Happy to have you here. Hey, BVP09. What's going on, man? How have you done so far? Haven't not in a sense of like I haven't seen you up there so far, but like I know last year you were killing contests and stuff. And so far it's literally, as I've suggested, the main like run pure guys that just fucking dominate. We got like the RPS guys and then the win the race fellas have significantly moved to the top of the board. Everybody else is playing second fiddle to those fellas. What's going on, Mayo? When we're looking at I don't even remember what I was going to say here. When we're actually looking through like where people are falling in line, we're gonna also I post this in Discord as well. Like it's not anything significant, but it's in case you guys just want them for your own thing. This is the main factor I'm looking at is the 10 lap runs and where people are going to fall in line. Zane Smith is like weird. I don't know what to think of this. This is a significant amount of speed. Excuse me. This is a significant amount of speed out of Zane Smith. Like wee woo. Like the main surprise. Like this is kind of weird, man. And why I don't really know what to do. Like the optimizer and stuff, and my projections like Zane Smith, and so like I don't know. For me, he doesn't really pass my eye test because I got him at 28 points at a 4.9 value. You know, that's given Zane Smith like it's given like a 19th place finish today. You know, typically I don't like my value guys coming in that poorly. He's starting 24th. And I think it's more realistic that he holds his position here versus moving up the field. Like I said, I got him for 19th. If he finishes 19th, yet again, me having, one or two lines with people I don't necessarily like to get different. I mean, especially at an ownership that's probably going to be at like 10% or 9%, maybe even 15 or something. But like, I don't like Zane Smith. I'm gonna have him in two lines. Like, maybe I just need to start saying that. Like, I really, really don't like this. But my numbers are really, really liking Zane Smith and really any type of build. I don't know, man. This race here, like the main guys are just here. We even go over here. Like the main fellas, main drivers. We already know we're playing these two idiots. Like Blaney, Suarez are also guys. Like Blaney needs significant help because he needs literally everybody else in the 10K guide in the 10K range to like wreck. So like I'm not gonna be playing Blaney today. If we're wrong on Blaney, whatever. Like these are the guys that I want to fit in. Like this is the main group I'm chasing today. Everything else, you can add where is it? Hamlin to that. You already have him lit up. You can add Hamlin to that for tracks or lines that I don't have Larson or Byron in. But like these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These 9 guys I want taking up, of 3 for sure, and 4 if possible positions in every single lineup. Because they're drastically different in salary. Yet again, I don't have a value play. I don't have anybody like under like 6,700 that I'm like just in love with. It's very much who am I landing on that doesn't kill me. In terms of best value plays, it's Gregson. I think it's Gregson. I think it's Priest, and I think it's Hemrick, and I think they're kind of all overpriced for what they're going to do. I will if I'm taking a stand and if I'm manually building, I'm going to try and land on Priest in those lineups. That's going to probably be the lowest I'm going to try and manually get to. Yet again, Zane Smith was showing up in a lot of my stuff, but he can very easily be beat in pricing and just like in raw scoring by not pricing, but like value by what Priest can potentially do, what Gregson potentially do, even somebody like Burton can potentially do. But like I do not have a lean here. Like even on my stuff, when I get to like this range, because I don't have Gregson hitting 5x, I don't have Priest hitting 5x. They're literally all projected to be the exact same, and I just think they're safer than some of these other 5K range guys. That's I'm telling you, right? I'm living and dying. Like, can't wait, man. Reddick to hit the fucking wall. My day's done, dude. It's like the day is cooked. Bubba Wallace, is he going to get his first ever win in NASCAR? Like, is this guy ever going to win? This guy has never won anything in NASCAR. So like, he's going to run in fourth all day and then speed on pit lane and just tank all the lineups. Ty Gibbs, going to run eighth all day. They put him in a good position. He gets fourth on a restart, and then he crashes. Like it's today. I just don't see a way that anything is saved if any of these guys in green have a bad day, because I'm going to be significantly overweight on them to the field. And yeah, like I just don't see it, man. I just do not see it. Would you stack the Penske? I would not. Hey, what's going on, Matt Dub T? I'm doing well. I don't recognize your name. I don't know if you've changed it. Because like when we look at the Penske guys, the Penske gang last year, so we're looking at Logano, who's trimmed out. Which, if you watch my stuff, yet again, I mean, at this point, I got to take every fucking dumbass victory lap I can. I thought a Ford would get the pole. I really thought the Fords and RFK would be significantly faster in qualifying. Penske did that. RFK was more significantly slower. But I think answering like the question that Zane just put in, the question that Brian just put in regarding the Penske team and stuff, I am directly referring to what they did last year in these races. throwing out the practice, throwing out qualifying, because we saw times where the Penske guys would start up front last year. And it's the same thing with Logano. The guy fucking starts first in this race because he's good at Las Vegas. He can qualify at Las Vegas very well. This is where they fall in line based on speed last year, okay, at these tracks. So we have Logano, we have Cindric, we have Blaney. Yet again, if you're playing a Penske driver, Blaney would be the play. But Larson has to crash. Byron has to crash. Hamlin has to run in significant issues. And then Bell is kind of probably going to still outscore Blaney. Like, I'm not playing Blaney. He is the best Penske car. I do not want to play Blaney. I'm not playing any of the Penske guys today based on what they have shown previously at these tracks, because there's been no significant changes in how these cars are running. Ford, whatever. Like this, I don't know what these teams did during the offseason. It was nothing. There is no change in anything. Starting grid is the exact same as last year's. I'm gonna have guys starting up front who just qualified well, but just don't have the speed replicated in like every race that they've ever ran last year. And I just don't. I'm not playing Penske guys. That's where I'm at there. What's going on, BG3? Yeah, I mean, my stuff like Zane Smith too, man. This is I'll play Zane Smith in 2 of my 16 and call it a day. There maybe 3. But
what's going on, Brandon?
That's oh, are you here? What's going on, Sheets?
I just popped in for just a second. I was listening to the first 15 minutes, and I figured I'd just come in and say hello to everybody. Just starting to build a little bit. It's been, as you know, definitely a shit show for me the last week or so. But I figured I'd just come in to see a big packed house. Hopefully, getting going to be as concentrated on the guys that you mentioned as you're going to be, and what's probably what I'm going to do too. I mean, I'm going to run. I posted sheets up, and I'm going to run my sims, run my whatever, and then I'm just going to manually upgrade to these guys. You know, I didn't really do a lot of work on it this week, but just poking my head in and saying what's up. It's interesting. You know, I was listening to what you were saying about the Briscoe play, and yeah, I mean, some slates, as you know, I mean, like some slates are just not very conducive to those types of plays working out. I think the ownership is not going to be that bad on him, though. But yeah, when I run my stuff, it's so funny. I'm getting a lot of the guys that you mentioned. Larson, as you know, you got him projected really, really high. So he's going to show up in almost all the lineups. Reddick, Chastain, Byron, Hamlin, Bowman. Yeah, I'm just going to just hang out here and just listen, you know, whatever. But I'm running some builds, and I'm just kind of going to just hang out.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to. You kind of scared me. I was like, "Oh man, Sheets is here." I just heard you come through. So I do have a question for you, since at least for me, I'm, you know, the Briscoe, the Zane Smith stuff. Is there any like guy that's like popping in your stuff, but in like the value range, or is it kind of all spread out as well?
Yeah. So again, there's 2 different things. There are who looks good in like the regular projections and like the sheets and stuff, and then who looks good when you actually start building stuff. You know, so when it comes to just who looks good, as far as just, you know, if you could play everybody, I guess. My top value, if that means anything, is Ryan Preece. At 6K, I have him higher than Briscoe. And then I actually have Gragson next, and Josh Berry, and then Hemrick, Haley. And this is just my, you know what I mean? Like I'm not seeing as much of the Briscoe. But then again, I mean, I'm seeing Briscoe at 10% ownership, dude. So if you like him, I mean, like, I don't think people are going to play that. I don't know. What do I know?
So can you, because this is what I'm trying to figure out, because I can't do it on, not that I can't do it, but I can't really figure it out on my end. With like Preece and the SHR guys in the 6K range being like the better value plays, in those lineups, or in lineups that they're played in, are they the lowest salaried guy in those lineups, or is it still
Yeah.
going
So
to the
I
5K
have
guy?
a Priest and Stenhouse. But then I have others like they're just some wild ones like Kraus and Hocevar, 2 sub 6K guys, and then Gilliland, Hocevar, LaJoy. I mean, the thing is that with the projections the way they are, I mean, it really puts a premium on getting to Larson. You know,
Mhm.
so with that said, it's just going to get you. But what you can do is let me just look real quick. So what you're saying is in the Priest lineups, for example, like what do the rest of the lineups look like? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Because like that'll significantly change the build. That's what I'm trying to figure out for what I'm going to run. Is it
Well,
worth?
so here's a good example. So when I analyze stuff just by my sheets, I have that Priest would be the top value, but then when I actually run the lineups, like I'm getting 24% Justin Haley and like
Yeah, like they're not. Yeah.
4%
Okay,
Priest.
that's yeah.
So I'm getting this Justin Haley and Burton and Zane Smith and all this stuff because they want me the way the algorithm gods like want me to play like Larson, Reddick, Byron, Hamlin, all these guys. Um, so that's why I'm getting to those.
Okay, then we're seeing the same thing, which is very interesting that like the best like value plays are like being just priced out of like actual builds and lineups.
Yeah,
Um, which I tend to like because it should be a case of like the 5K guys should be lower owned than the clear value plays in the 6K range, which should just significantly like differentiate the lineups anyway. And at least for me, I don't think I need to take like any significant stand on one 5K guy. I think I'm probably just going to be spread out, which doesn't help any of the viewers and stuff. But I think that's more so where I'm going to be. And having this conversation with you makes me feel more comfortable not having like as much Priest or Gregson, and feeling okay to like, yeah, let's have like a 5K guy who's going to score me like 4.5x or something.
I mean, hey, if you think Larson will do Larson stuff and like and crash, I mean, then you get those, then you can play those Priest guys,
Yeah.
kind of with impunity,
Yeah. Well, at least okay. Well, it sounds like we're kind of on the same. I think we are on the same guys actually.
Yeah. So most of my lineups are looking like Larson. I mean, right now I have to force myself to not have Larsons. Like I'm going to be playing 40, so I'm
Mhm.
going to have I right now have only whatever 68% Larson. I could have had 100 if I felt like it, but just NASCAR being NASCAR, I just didn't want to. So what I did was I made like min uniques like 2 or 3, so that automatically crunches things up a little bit. But he's
Mhm.
still my highest owned guy, and then I'll have Reddick and Bowman actually would be my next two. But again, this is not my opinion. These are like the sheets I put in, and this is what Saber Sims and this contest Sims and stuff just kind of spit out. So it's not like I like them. This is just like what I'm getting, and that's a really big distinction. You know what I mean, between who you like and who you're actually getting and playing. So you're more of an expert on the drivers, so you can play who you want to play, and have the confidence in that. Where I'm more, I can't really do that, So
Mhm.
I'm kind of like content with what I get. Where like if you saw some of this and say, well, I'm not playing 34% Keselowski or whoever, you have a lot more fundamental what I'm looking for basis for doing that where I just don't. So it's just different.
No, I totally. I feel you. I'm trying. I mean, I typically don't try and have a lot of bias anyway. But like I said, I was concerned about the Zane Smith initially when I ran my stuff last night. Um, Even the Haley stuff. Like when I look at my highest projected lineups, it's like getting to Haley. It's getting to people like Hemrick to just force in everybody, and I wasn't entirely sure if that was the correct way, but
Let me ask you because I haven't really been following the progression of the groupthink this week. Let's put it that way. Are people throughout the industry do you think like really just like honed in on this on that type of construction? You know, like Larson with somebody big with those 30, you know what I mean? Like, or is there room for, you know what I mean? Like is are there like simple pivots you can make that can get you different without a lot of stress?
So I guess two things. So like one, the reason why I like being so early is I can be the first show, because I actually haven't listened to anybody else yet.
Oh,
I
good.
like making my own. I like doing my videos with like without any outside push or whatever. I'm gonna assume that they're not gonna want to play Larson and Byron together. I think it's gonna be very heavy, like Larson, and then Reddick, possibly the 6K guys. So for me, my main takeaway or my main feel with that is like I'm perfectly fine with like having lines that don't have Larson and then just fitting in Byron as like a Larson clone. Like that's really I think those two are significantly closer than what projections might show or what Sims might show. I think they are the exact same play. And I think it's realistic that Larson runs first, Byron runs second all day. They keep trading fast laps, and it just comes down to who leads more laps based on pit lane. That's really my main feel there. I want one of Larson or Byron in every single one of my lines today. That's mainly the take.
Okay.
But in terms of what the industry is going to do, I haven't listened to anything yet or haven't read anything yet.
All right. All right, I'm gonna get flying. I just want to pop in for a minute. Anybody do anything in the last couple in the F1 or the trucks or the Xfinity?
Man, I've had this has been a terrible week so far.
Did somebody take down? By the way, did somebody take down the F1 solo?
No, it was a train of 40 people. I know Astukas in the Discord. He won in that as well because that's what he always does. But I didn't see anybody else that I know stand out who won it. But it was a train.
Okay.
And they've already significantly decreased the size of the next F1 contest for.
I saw him post up on there about that next week. Did Verstappen win and not make optimal? That's kind of what I figured would happen. No,
that is a good question. He may have. Let me look. I don't.
I mean, I didn't think you could get to him and captain, but
let me see, because I don't remember what the optimal was. I know the optimal was basically every 1v1 altogether because nearly every teammate failed. Like the favorite teammate failed. So captain was Magnussen, captain.
He made the
optimal, Flex,
but,
Russell Flex, Zhao Flex, Sargent Flex, and Red Bull team. And that was in a train of 35 lineups.
Yeah, I got it. All right, man. Good luck, everybody. I'm getting out of here. Let's try to reverse the trend, and let's get there.
Yeah, thanks for hopping in, Sheets. Hope you have a good day.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, going back to at least kind of where I'm at, that talk with Sheets makes me feel significantly better about the 5K plays. Kind of going back to like the builds that we were just talking about. So like, as you can see, I got like 220 back from F1. That doesn't do a darn thing when you put like $400 in. But when we're looking at like these builds of like, yet again, I'm just going to use 2 10K guys as this example here. We'll throw in Reddick to have. It's basically my exact same thing I was talking earlier in the video of like the best raw point plays would be these Stewart-Haas guys and specifically Priest and Gregson. But if you want to pay up for like another guy, which is the builds that I want to do, like this is I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have this. You're in the 5K range. And at that point we're splitting hairs between or not splitting hairs, but it's going to come down to, does Priest score, let's see, Like, does Priest score like anywhere from like 28 to 34 points? Can the lineup make up for that if Hemrick scores like 23 points, 21 points and stuff? And my stuff, yet again, that's what was making me uncomfortable earlier, because it was saying like, let's not. Let me look at my actual exposures real fast in terms of all my lines. I want to see where everything was in that. So Zane Smith, it's Gregson at 18. It's literally everybody at like 18%. It's just fitting everybody in. So if that's the case, I'm more and more comfortable going down here to Justin Haley, to Derek Kraus, and just letting the chips fall where they land. I'm not really concerned about that at this point, as much as I was when we started talking about this. Yet again, Logano having number one pit stall is, I think it's good for this race, because Logano shouldn't have the car to take advantage of it and maintain the lead. He should maintain the running position inside the top 10, because typically, number one pit stall here and really everywhere, although number one pit stall, we've argued that it's more important here, less important here than other places. There's some years where it was like significantly slicker and harder to get off a pit lane. That's kind of disappeared more and more now. But Logano having number one pit stall basically like nullifies it, because he's not necessarily in play to be a lap leader or a fast lap getter. And so we just remove that aspect of the number one pit stall in its entirety. Past that, we have Larson, who's going to have literally nobody in front of him. Nobody, like, Corey LaJoie is not going to be in the pit stall behind him when he comes to pit lane. Nobody's going to be in front of him. So, like, Larson's going to have an easy time getting in the pit lane, getting in and out of pit lane. We look for William Byron. Same story. Nobody's going to be behind him. He'll have Blaney to contend with leaving, but he has an open pit stall. Like, your best drivers here, like when we rank them in terms of pit stalls, which is how you should also add an elevation to their projections. And that's what I do, is Logano, Gibbs, Larson, Truex, Cindric, Busher, Bubba, Reddick. This one, the Reddick one, is significant because, yeah, sure, Haley or Gralla. pretty sure it's Haley in 51. Haley will never be in this pit stall when Reddick is pitting, but he's almost always going to have a bad exit with Gregson being in front of him if Gregson is on the lead lap, because Gregson is going to have to fit in between Bubba already being in his pit lane, Reddick always being in his pit lane. Gregson is going to be cattywampus pointed towards the inside wall. That is a big hindrance towards Reddick. Like, that is significant to pay attention to. Continuing with good guys, like we have Dylan, Suarez, Blaney, Byron. We got Zane Smith from his good, at least that should be Zane Smith. No, wait a minute. Zane is in 71. 77 is Hocevar. Correct. Yeah, Hocevar is in 77. So Hocevar, Briscoe, and then Bell would be your primary guys that you would want to at least elevate or like bump slightly based on their pit road. Like, we should see those guys fight to be some of the faster guys on pit lane. So like that's always significant there that we want to pay attention to. 980 guys here. I do appreciate you guys being here. Let's continue through the chat since I'm a little behind here. No problem, Dale. You're not. You weren't late. I started a little bit earlier today. But thank you for the compliments. McDowell and Busher, I will probably be underweight on Busher just because you can see the guys that I want to be on. I can't fit Busher in there. When we look at where Busher is, I mean, yet again, if you're spreading stuff out, I would rather play Bell over Busher. I have to think of the builds that I would be at, because if I'm playing Busher, then I'm not getting to people like Tyler Reddick. I'm not getting to people like Bubba Wallace. I would prefer those guys over Chris Busher, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get to Chris Busher in my lines today. I'm not playing McDowell. And yeah, Keselowski's good. It's a shame that qualified so poorly, but yet again, he's at $8,500. Okay. If I'm chasing Bubba Wallace, if I'm chasing Reddick in the 8K range, those are my primary guys that I want to focus on. And we've already shown how that build goes, where we're in like the 5K range. I have to purposely build lineups with Keselowski. I would much rather play Keselowski over Chris Buescher. So like same thing with like the Zane Smith, or not Zane Smith. Like I'm going to have a line with Briscoe, despite the fact he looks horrible. I'm probably going to have 2 or 3 Keselowski lines, despite the fact that I would prioritize Bowman and people like Tyler Reddick, people like Wallace. And again, I'm playing 16 lines, and so for me, like that's still significant. That's like, you know, right at like 10% of Keselowski probably when I'm done. But that's my opinion on Keselowski. Thank you, Mayo. I don't think I would leave more than $2,000 is a lot here. I'd be comfortable leaving like 1,600 to 1,100. If you're paying up for as many guys that we're paying up for, yet again, you're stuck in the 5K range, so you're going to be leaving at least like 700 or less on the table. I don't really see a reason why we should be leaving like $2,000. I think that's a little too much. I think you can upgrade people. Triple J. Yeah, I don't think it is either. Mayo, let's see. Larson, Byron, yeah, we're fine with that. I'm gonna have a stupid amount of Haley. Yeah. Time to see what the Rick Ware boys have, man. It's gonna be really hilarious if Haley outscores Hemrick, man. That's gonna be really, really funny. You can get an idea of Logano's ownership both through SaberSim, and Sheets has really, really good and very accurate ownership projections. And you can get that by joining us here at TrueDFS, by joining membership and stuff like that. You can also join our Discord at this link here. You get the free channels and stuff. If you want the premium stuff, you do have to join the membership, but that is the Discord link for everybody in here. 96 you guys here. Thank you very much for hanging out with me on this Sunday morning instead of going to church. Hamlin and Blaney, I think that is if Hamlin and Blaney are your highest projected guys, I do believe there's a lot wrong in the process. That's not even based off of my stuff in terms of means and things. Like even when we look, let's take a look at just what I gotta make sure I don't show my stuff on accident. But I want to bring up at least what SaberSim has, because that's an outside projection source from what we have here. So like when we look at the highest projected guys that SaberSim has, like yeah, Hamlin's second, but Blaney isn't even anywhere close. Hamlin is going to realistically fight. Like Hamlin has to directly fight Reddick, Kyle Busch, and Byron to be optimal. But Hamlin makes sense to be, second highest projected when we're looking at means and stuff. But Blaney, like in order for Blaney to be a high projected guy, we understand where he's at. We understand that he's going to be, in the top 10 fighting stuff. But in order for Hamlin or Blaney to work out, Larson needs to crash straight up. You also need Byron to crash straight up. You need Bubba Wallace to run into issues and Reddick, because those are the 4 guys that I think are going to actually compete for the win today. Whether we have green, white checkers, whether we're deciding on pit lane, like those are your 4 favorites. I'm not even in the betting world and stuff. Like I can't do that here in Texas. So I give very little push to it. It's probably too late now because you never want to make bets the day of. But like Bubba Wallace makes a lot of sense today. Like I don't know what his odds are. Don't really care what they are. If you can find somewhere with value somewhere, I think Bubba Wallace is worth putting money on today for that. But like this is what SaberSim has, and you can see that everybody is still pretty significantly similar to where they're at. And then this doesn't help me at all. Like when everybody's priced or everybody's projected around the same, that doesn't really help me decide anything at all in terms of value plays and stuff. But let's go ahead and continue here. Yeah, Byron. Yeah, when we look at last year, so yet again, look at where Byron was. I don't have the ownerships with me right now, and he was significantly higher when Larson either started farther back in the field or circumstances happened. Byron was the best car last year. And realistically, because like everybody knows I don't like the playoffs and stuff. Like I just think that stuff is kind of lame and dumb and doesn't reward. Oh, but Blaney was like shut up. Blaney is not a champion. I haven't acknowledged the championship in like 7 years. Okay, Byron was the best car last year at every. I mean, at every place. But like, look at this stuff. Consistent, literally. Even his bad races at Kansas and his Texas race, he was the best car at these tracks everywhere. Like Byron is Larson for $500 cheaper, probably less owned as well. Especially when they start side by side, he's always lower owned. We should probably see an ownership drop of maybe anywhere from 8 to 13% from where Larson is to Byron. I mean, that's just golden, man. You're telling me I get the best guy because Larson is the best. Yeah, Larson is good, but like, look at where we fell last year, like identically. Byron was slightly better than Larson in the opening race. Las Vegas 2, Larson was slightly better than Byron, man. Like these guys are identical plays, man. They should both be significantly higher owned, or Byron should be higher owned than what he is. Haley and the Rick Ware stuff. I mean, time to see where we're at. I'm hoping that Rick Ware is fast. Just in general, I like Rick Ware racing. I can't wait for Cody Ware to come back, so I can just root for Cody Ware. I think 30% of Keselowski. How many lines are you running, Dave? Because if you're running like 20, 30 would be 6, which I'd be fine with. Yeah, 30 is fine. I'd probably have him anywhere from like 20 to 30. That's fine as I talk that through. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like Mayo, like straight up, man. If like Larson crashes, I mean, that's like at least 10 of my 16 done. And then if Byron crashed, which I've had happen before last year in Michigan. Yeah, it was because Bell crashed. Byron crashed. He hit the wall. Like all my backup guys, like just crashed. And I had no lines even competing because all my guys died. Fun to see on X someone complain about Chase's pit stall being bad, and then Bob Parker responded, "It's not a bad." Yeah, I'm like, dude, people are idiots. People are illiterate. I don't know if you guys follow. Let me see. Hold on. I might even share this below the tweet on this stuff, or the tweet talking about this race here. I don't know if you guys watch Implement, but he has a secondary channel called Downward Diary, and he has this video that I was listening to yesterday, which was hilarious. It's called Dealing with the New Age of Illiteracy, and it's just talking about how stupid people are on Twitter. This is I'll post this on the bottom of the tweet later, but it's literally that. Like the Chase Elliott Bob Pockers thing makes a lot of sense. Like people complain about where Chase Elliott is, where he's 9. Literally, nobody behind him going to have a clear stall. Most likely 38's a lap down, going to have an open stall on both sides, like stage 2 and stage 3. The stall is perfectly fine, but people don't use context clues or even think past that stuff. Favorite guy, $5,500 or under. I truly don't have one. Sheets and I literally just talked about this. I personally don't have one that I'm going to be overweight on. What I'm probably going to build with is probably the cheaper guy, which is probably Haley, I'm assuming. Like these guys back here. Haley at 53 would probably be the favorite guy that I would have in that range. Same thing with Stenhouse. Like that's another dude very similar to Briscoe. This guy's all over the damn place last year. This is very concerning. That's how fast that's falling off. But then he maintains like a decent long run speed here. So like you're like here, like okay, well what happens with Stenhouse if you can actually replicate like he's like 9th here, but let's say he's like 12, 13 best in the long run. Okay, where does that put him at? Oh, he's starting 13th. Oh man, how has he done in these races? Oh man, like we might get a situation where he's like Darlington, where he's like the 10th best guy, and that's not really helping that out. Like yet again, same argument with Briscoe. He's competing directly against 6K guys, and what's going to determine this race is who works up top salary wise. I think it's 2 10K guys. If it's one 10K guy, then we're probably going to see 2 6K guys work, which would most likely be Priest and Gregson, and or one more 5K guy with a bunch of guys in the 8K range. And so, like, there's a lot of, I mean, not a lot. Stenhouse doesn't have a lot of outs to work, in my opinion. So I will not be playing Stenhouse there. Is the PD going to come through or raw points finish be better? That is literally the question in every race, and there is no answer to that question. It is very dependent. Like, look at all the races this weekend. Just looking at this weekend, the raw point guys in the truck race were all competing directly against the place differential. And I went on this talk yesterday because I had no Corey Heim, and I had literally just raw point guys, lap leaders, Ty Majeski, Nick Sanchez, guys like that. And builds focused on them were scoring identically with the place differential plays. And then all those guys spent on pit lane, all the place differential came through. With the Xfinity series, like, yeah, sure. Like, you can argue Nemechek was PD play because he started 12th because he had some stuff built in, but it was really raw points, guys. Like Chandler Smith was up there all day. Sure, Allgaier came through, but like Allgaier was a lock. That wasn't even a discussion. But like that answer or that question, Mayo, is literally the question for every single race. And that's what you have to balance. And I like leaning into raw points more, unless there is a significant place differential play that you just need to play, like that works in like any situation, like Allgaier yesterday. I will typically almost always be a raw points type of guy. Can the Spires backup qualify? I have no freaking idea, man. See, now we're getting like people who like, these are questions that I don't enjoy at all because they add no significance to the show. Like, this is where LaJoy is. We've seen him qualify well and stuff. We have Hocevar starting here in 14th. We've seen Hocevar like actually be decent, but like, will they back up the speed in qualifying? Well, like, I mean, we're practicing and qualifying in two drastically different environments. We had like a ton of win yesterday, bringing up a lot of things. Like, truly, I don't know with Logano or not Logano. I don't know with LaJoy, Hocevar, Zane Smith. That's why they're all question marks. Like, it's literally, you know, I don't lean to them like doing any better than where they're already at. Like, when we look at LaJoy starting 17th, this is where he is in terms of speed at all these races last year. There's been no significant increase in terms of speed in the off season, based just on the eye test that I wanted to see in the initial practice, and not because of like, oh, where is LaJoy falling in line here? Like, yeah, this is fine. I'm looking at, is there any significant change between LaJoy going from 17th, starting 17th, to being like realistically like the 17th best car? That doesn't help us in DFS at all. That doesn't do that at all. When we look at Hocevar in a very similar car, yet again, running like 17th all day is like a huge hindrance in DFS. When we look at Zane Smith starting 24th, if there was a guy who was viable for the Spire team in DFS, it would be Zane Smith, because he at least is starting 24th. If he ends up running with how LaJoy ran last year, which is a very one-to-one comparison because they have the same amount of actual raw skill in points and yada, yada, yada. Like, Zane Smith going from 24th to 21st at $5,700 still isn't the greatest play. But in terms of like, if Hocevar, LaJoy, and Zane Smith all finish 17th, 18th, and 19th, well, then Zane Smith was a better play from that. So like, it's much more than can the Spire guys back up their qualifying. It's where they are in terms of raw speed in general, where they are in terms of salary, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What's going on, AD? Yeah, dude, I just want Bubba Wallace to win a race, man. I mean, this poor guy cannot win a legit race, man. Like, has he ever actually won a race? I don't think he has. I'm just waiting for somebody to come in here. I just want to make the Darrell Wallace joke. Nobody's taking the bait. But like, yeah, like, Bubba Wallace has a really good chance to win the race today. I really do. And You know one thing, if you do want to be entertained, at this point we're having fun, just kind of goofing around. 98 of you guys here. If you want to be entertained, go on Facebook or go on. Actually, Twitter is more left leaning, so go on Facebook and just type in the Raja Caruth win from like Matt Weaver or any of these other places. And there's so many people mad at Raja Caruth. Like, dude, racism is alive and well in the U.S. Like, it's insane. Like these people are wicked wild. I don't even know how you hate on. I don't like Raja Caruth because he races like an asshole on iRacing. Okay, he's an asshole in C Fixed. Okay, I don't like him in that regard. Like, who cares if he wins? I'm just like, God, dude, these stupid iRacers. Now he's gonna come back on iRacing. We're gonna be in iRacing with Raja Caruth, and he's gonna have an even bigger ego and just move us all out of the way. Like, that's where like my disdain of Raja comes through. But like the guy, like, congratulations on Raja actually winning. Wallace or Reddick? If I had to choose one, it would be Tyler Reddick. Because he's starting 18th. I think Bubba Wallace. I hate saying this because I think it's overused, but Bubba Wallace is going to decide tournaments for people because he is either going to be optimal or he's like your lineup is going to finish like 100th. You know that is where and 100th in like the big contest. Like it could be a situation where Bubba Wallace has a good day and you miss out on the optimal lineup by like 3 points, like 3 overall points based on what Wallace can do. Like Wallace is going to decide tournaments for people. I want to be overweight on him to the field, but he's going to be determining a lot of stuff. Same thing with Reddick. I think Reddick is going to be very popular and very chalky. He might actually be like the 3rd or 4th highest owned guy. So like Reddick isn't as significant as Bubba Wallace in terms of what he's going to have an impact on the contest and stuff. But like I want to play Bubba Wallace today. So answering your question, who if I had to choose one, it'd be Reddick. Okay, like much safer play. Realistically, he works more and he's not going to be as impactful in your lineup. Like he has a much higher chance of being optimal than Bubba Wallace. But I think Bubba Wallace can help people solo take down stuff today if he actually performs well. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I went to Atlanta. I have season tickets to Atlanta. That was my second race at Atlanta. I went last year in the fall because I was like watching on TV. I was like, man, this place is going to be the best racetrack ever. I'm going to go there. And so now I just go with a bunch of friends. We just rent out Airbnb and there's like 12 of us that just hang out and stuff. So it's like my vacation. The 2 Atlanta weekends are realistically like my vacation. Those are my big trips per the year now. And so don't go to Atlanta, please. I don't want to see prices increase. Okay. It's $120 for season tickets at Atlanta. Please stay away. Don't push those tickets higher up. I like the fact that I can get 5 races. Actually, yeah, it's 120. So like what we did is we just bought like 12 season tickets between like seven or 6 of us, and we just give them to whoever wants to join us, and they just pay $60 for the weekend. It's so affordable. Like go to Atlanta. Like please encourage every track that you live near to destroy it and turn it into a super speedway. Like that is just more entertaining racing. Is their pick? Yeah, their pit crews are horrific, man. It's so bad, man. It's so horrible. I mean, at this point, I have turned my meme or my personal YouTube channel into just memes and stuff. But I have a pretty I think it's pretty damn funny video under my meme things, and it's like I just want to root for a Bubba Wallace win, and it's him at Darlington last year when he's like running 3rd, and then the pit crew just screws him over like right off the bat. Like the pit crews are horrendous. So yet again, Reddick or Bubba Wallace, Reddick can overcome pit road issues DFS wise. Bubba Wallace cannot. If he falls out of the top 5 due to pit road issues, his mental state is destroyed. He is going to be angry. The pit crew is going to have more anxiety on them, and the day is over. Any pit crew issue just tanks Bubba Wallace. His mental fortitude is made out of eggshells, and if anything messes that up, it's just gone. That sucks, man. And then Reddick is going to run the top all day. He's going to scrape off fast laps. He's going to fly through the field. He's going to be in like 7th mid stage 2. We get to stage 3 and he puts her in the wall. Like that's just how the day is going to go. That's That's just mainly how the day is probably going to unfold, and this is my main stuff that I just want to focus on and stuff. So lastly, I don't see any significant change from how the car is unloaded. I'm not necessarily looking at the practice laps, like I'm being aware of them. You know, we're going through looking at them and stuff, and I go ahead and remove all the bad laps, all the slow ones and stuff, but there's no significant change here. Like people are gonna be like, well, Gregson was fast, you know, Briscoe was like, we always had like random guys be fast in general, but for the most part, people who were fast and people who are starting up front are falling very much in line with these guys here. So yet again, let's just kind of go down the grid real fast and refresh our memories and how were these guys last year? So we have Larson, okay, looking all right. Actually, let me go down the grid. We have Logano. Oof. Oh man, kind of stinky. Not very good. We have Larson. All right, pretty good. We have Cindric. Ew. We have Byron. Looking pretty good. We have Wallace, who can step up and be there. Okay. We have Chase Briscoe. Ugh. We have Truex. I can't even spell his name right. We have Truex. Pretty good. I have not mentioned Truex yet. Similar to Briscoe, I think I'm going to build with one Truex line, and it'll probably be paired with Byron specifically, because I think if anybody is going to compete to, especially in the 9K range, when we're like trying to think game theory and lineup construction stuff, I think the better leverage is to, let's see, if I have 16 lineups, 5 are going to have Larson and Byron together. No, 6 would have Larson and Byron together. That leads 10 for 5 of each. Yeah, so this, I would probably want him paired with my Byron line, because like Truex is there. And if I like same thing. If I like Truex, I should just play Ty Gibbs. I might have one lineup with Truex, but here's Gibbs, who is going to take a step forward. Like he's already running well. I mean, this is like, the kid has talent, people. I'm sorry if you don't like spoon-fed babies. Every spoon-fed baby in NASCAR is here. Oh, what's that? Josh Berry is not a spoon-fed baby. He still has money. You don't get to race on just talent alone. And Berry's overrated. Like Bubba Pollard hopping in. You're telling me like Bubba Pollard is like a good old Southern boy? He's going to be racing for Junior Motorsport. He also has money. Like everybody who races now is a spoon-fed baby. Bubba, I don't even know how old Bubba is, but like, you're not racing in today's age if you or your parents or your family went into the oil business, went into tech, construction. Every construction and car dealership, every family that I know who owns a construction company or a dealership has their son or father racing in it. Like, spoon-fed babies is the new baby. Like, that's just by default in racing. So like, grow up. Ty Gibbs is here to stay. Ty Gibbs actually has talent, and more raw talent than most of these idiots in the crew. Like, you're just mad because he's like the grandson of like Gibbs. Like, bro, if I was rich, I would spoil my children. They are going to grow up to be selfish assholes because I'm going to give them everything in their life. What's that, dude? You want to go race? Let me go buy you the best stuff. That is literally so don't be a Ty Gibbs hater, because you're just going to like really dislike NASCAR for the next 24 years. Ty Gibbs has real speed. Buescher, that's not how you spell Buescher. Chris Buescher is there. Bell is there. I'd prefer Bell over Truex. That's maybe I think I'm going to play Truex. I might just stick with Bell. We have Elliott. I haven't talked about him yet, but kind of a reason, like other people, more like, you know, we have McDowell here. We have Stenhouse, Kosovar, we have Blaney. We got Suarez. We got LaJoy. We got Reddick. We got Dillon. Actually, we don't have to actually. Let's do Austin talk to us. We got Austin Dillon. We got Chastain, we got Chastain. If I can spell. We got Chastain, who like, that's a place differential play that looks pretty good. Same thing with Reddick. Chastain, I think he's going to be a guy that you want to play today, man. Haven't talked about Kyle Busch. You have to. Same thing, man. Like I just want Reddick. I'd rather play Chastain. I don't think I need to get to Kyle Busch today. We got Jones. We got that Jones boy. Like, so this is an interesting like guy to actually pay attention to and look at. So when we're looking at Jones, like that's unfortunate. Like that's unfortunate. So like absolutely like slow as molasses in practice. Okay. Ups it up in qualifying, has a decent run in qualifying. We know that he has been better. Correct. We can see that. But he started 22nd. He goes from 22nd to like, what do I have him for actually? I got Jones for 14th. I mean, that's not going to work for DFS, man. So like, it's not. I mean, I don't think I look at this stuff in like a crazy way. We got Bowman. Basically an identical play as Jones. Where I stand differently with Bowman is that same logic that I like to lean into. I'm not saying we got to stack him in all the situations, but like if I like Byron, if I like Larson, I can see Elliott being like running eighth all day. I gotta like you can't like discount Bowman, like that. I mean, the fall off here is significant, but like we can't just discount Bowman and stuff. We've seen where he's at. He's in 23rd. Give him like 10th. Give him 13th, 11th, somewhere around there. It's fine. Got Brad Keselowski, which salary wise, man, there's just, I mean, gotta want at least 20% in Keselowski. I don't have my take is I think he underperforms based on this type of stuff where he kind of falls in line more so like here, like right at 10th, possibly like in this range here. But I'll have 20%. So if he goes out and wins the race, okay, well, whatever. Can't be wrong if I play everybody. We got Barry in like the SHR car. Like, look where Harvick was compared to like the rest of the team. Like, none of the SHR guys are replicating what Harvick was doing. We got Hamlin, which like Hamlin should drive up and be in like 12th, 10th, 11th. We just have to see what happens at stage 3. Like, I think Hamlin is especially if you want two 10K guys and it's not both Larson and Byron, Hamlin fits in so easily and so well. That makes a lot of sense. Burton is just ass. Don't even know why he's in here. Gregson, I love Gregson. I love my main man Gregson, but he's slow. He sucks. Gillen is atrocious. Kraus is lined right up with kind of where Haley was. Like, I mean, I'm searching Haley, so it's showing Haley here, but I'm doing this for Derek Kraus and Hemrick. Like, this is where these cars are. Like, when you look at where this guy was and Allmendinger, like this is where the colleague cars were when they had, decent to all right speeds and practice and stuff. This is like that's significantly slower because Daniel Hemrick and Derek Kraus suck. I don't know why they're even in these cars. Hemrick, if you think I hate on like Blaney win a championship, oh my lord, dude. Why everybody, if you want to hate on drivers, you need to have like death wishes upon Hemrick. This man has no right to even be near a race car. His only win, not even making it up, his only win in anything was the Phoenix race and the championship. And I was physically there for that. He has never won anything else. Legends, Bandoleros, late models. Like, you guys people hate on Ty Gibbs. Dude, Hemrick is a fraud. What is this guy doing here, man? What is going on? Why is he in these rides? I would rather see Brandon Jones in the Cup Series than this freaking idiot. Oh my good lord. We got Priest here, and then we're not playing the 44. So like that's the last big breakdown. We've been here for an hour and 10 minutes having a good time. We had Sheets join. If you guys are just joining in or jumping in now, you can go back and listen on 2X and get through everything here. Let's go ahead and look at chat one last time. Where can you find the 5, 10, 15, 20 laps? Well, it's on NASCAR.com. You can just find it on NASCAR.com. Abnormally distributed. Actually, he doesn't post that. He just posts the raw laps. I just pull them from NASCAR. Like, I just pull this here so I can read it in a way that makes sense. I hate the way they have it on NASCAR.com. I don't have it written down because, like, sometimes I'm going to be tired, or sometimes I'm like, I'm not pulling this shit today or whatever. But most of the time on 1.5s and short tracks, I will post this in the Discord. So, like, in the Discord earlier, I guess like last night, because I was I was up late last night. So, like, I had here's the Cup Series Las Vegas practice that I uploaded like last night at like 12:30. That's all this stuff that you see on there, just so people can have it and stuff. Because I have it on here just for the videos and things of that nature, so you can I guess hop in the Discord and get that. Although that's not like the main reason to get it. It's just something that I do in case you want to see it and stuff like that. Past that, I think we know where we're at. 118 of you guys still here. I do appreciate it. Thank you for all the likes and subscriptions and following me over here and watching my stuff. I will see you guys later. Let's see how piss poor this race can go when all the guys I want to be on run into issues again. But yeah, I will see you guys later. So best of luck and bye-bye.